Well, I'm sat in my retro car. This is a 1984 Ford Capri 2-litre S. It's Strato Silver, so it looks like one of those professional cars from the TV series, but not the hefty 3-litre. Let's pop the bonnet up, have a look. I've had some work done on it recently. I've had the timing belt changed, which is under this cover here. Had a new water pump fitted and thermostat. Also a new radiator, so this is a Recon radiator. It's also an automatic one as well, so it has to cool the gearbox. This is a new coil here. I've taken off the old electronic ignition that I had on here, so I had a retro kind of bit electronic ignition. I've taken that off. It's actually running better on points again now. I've got this so when the car's laid up I can disconnect the battery and save the battery, because the Ford clock tends to be a little bit power consuming. So it's had an oil change, got a new filter on it there, as you can see. So it's quite original. It's never had any welding done on it. It was picked up in the MOT as having had welding, but it basically hasn't. It was where I undersealed it, and they thought I was covering up bits of metal that was being plated. It's smoking a little bit because of the oil change. It's running a lot thinner oil. So I guess that's probably my next port of call, is to have a look at the valve stems, I guess, because it's probably burning a bit of oil through there. But otherwise, running really well. And at this point of the year, just before I enter into November, I will be putting this away for the winter in the garage. And as I'm walking around it, I can see a few jobs I've got to do, like here for instance on the brake cylinder. It's looking like it needs a little bit of a brush up and paint. This bit of metal grille here, well, it's like a cover basically to protect the fins, I guess. But anyway, that needs repainting, as do the bumpers. Are starting to show a little bit of rust kind of like coming through, but they're fully sort of metal bumpers, well, with these plastic bits on the side. But yeah, it's quite an original car. And actually this year, well, the year coming in to like next year, because it's 40 years old, but because it was 40 years old about 10 days later than it could have been, unfortunately I still had to pay road tax and get it MOT. But in theory next year I won't need to. I just need to change it over because it's now classed as a classic car. I thought you might be interested to see one of my other hobbies, which is obviously trying to keep this whole thing going. One warning to anyone with one of these Ford Capris is when you close the bonnet, it's kind of closed with your hands on the sides here. If you push down in the centre, because of the age of them, potentially you might kind of punch it through. I have seen that on some of these, so you just have to be a bit careful. So my original car when I was a teenager was a Datsun 100A, and I had a few Datsun Cherries, but some of my mates had kind of Escorts and Capris, so at the time they were just too kind of pricey, too expensive, so hence why I have one now, and why it does seem to be quite a relatively easy car to maintain and keep running, as long as you can kind of hold back the rust, I guess. One of my jobs I've got to do, unfortunately, is sort out the radio. Now I have got the original Ford Capri radio. The set doesn't work, so the belt doesn't work, and also it's only a medium wave, it's not an FM, but I do have the original. So in one of my videos I probably will have a go at taking the original one apart to look at the belts and if there's anything else I need to change on it. And there's the classic clock, which is not the right time, but anyway, that's the clock that draws all the current if you leave the battery connected all winter. Unfortunately, it is a automatic rather than a manual box. I would have preferred a manual, obviously, but this has been pretty robust in its time. I've done about 40,000 miles on the car now, no problems at all. So yeah, the sort of amount of driving that I do in it's not too bad. It's kind of doable having a automatic box. And something else that I've had done I didn't mention was the diff. So I've had the diff cover removed and replaced and topped up with brand new fluids. So all in all, it's fairly well maintained, this car. Fortunately, it does lack power steering. It's okay when you're just doing your general driving. The turning circle's pretty good as well because it's rear wheel drive. But when you're in a small car park, like a supermarket car park, and you have to basically get out of a very tight space where you might have been blocked in somewhat, it can be quite hard work. You really do need to have built up your muscles somewhat to get out of that parking space. Oh, and if you're interested in more videos about the Capri, let me know in the comments and I will make my job next year in the spring to make maybe some driving videos with the Capri. Sort of see how it goes. Thanks for watching this video. I'm going to put the phone down now because I need to drive down these narrow country roads back home. So yeah, thanks for watching.